Hello everyone, it's Monica, also known as Sleeved After 60, and I'm coming to you from the great outdoors that is the Twin Cities on August 1st of 2017. Can't do it without my glasses because I can't see a thing, so sorry, it's all a blur. But anyway, so I just found out, this is what led me to come and do a video today for my week 20th, because I found out that there's an actual name for what I've been doing. It's called ghosting, according to millennials, that I've been sort of, not making videos, and I've let some people down who are used to following me and hearing from me on Tuesdays. So my apologies, that was not my intention, and I'll tell you in a minute what's been going on. So this is August 1st, 2017. It's my week 20th update from having had VSG in the Twin Cities with Dr. Daniel Leslie, University of Minnesota, Fairview Hospital on March 14th, 2017. And my starting weight was, or my heaviest weight was 240. When I started at the university, I was 224. Day of surgery, I was 198. And this morning I come to you at 155.8. And that's a change from last week of down 1.1 pounds. So even though I haven't been on, I was gone for a week. We were on vacation around 4th of July. Didn't weigh in, but if you look below my stats, I continue to post my stats every week. Here's an interesting thing. I think that on 1 week, it wasn't last week, maybe it was the week before, I had a gain of 0.2 pounds, which I had done the math. I don't know how many ounces that was. So here are a couple of things. It feels so good to be outside. I've been spending a lot of time outside. Away from the sun though, because at my age, sun is not your friend, baby girl. So a couple of things. Let's see. First of all, so I'm still, I think I pretty much weigh myself every day with this fancy schmancy new scale that I got about, I think it was at the end of May. And what's a really good thing is that what I've learned is that there are a few ounces. I think the most is like maybe 6 to 8 ounces sometimes that things change. And what I noticed about that is that in a way, it was kind of an experiment to weigh every day, because that's not something I normally do. I think I kind of like that in a way, because it's helping me in the first few months, right? It's helping me sort of see that there's no big deal, that scale kind of changes from day to day. I noticed that, like today, my weight was, I think, 7 ounces, or 0.7, not 7 ounces, sorry, 0.7, just more than half a pound higher than it was yesterday. And what I was able to go back yesterday and notice was, aside from the fact that I had beef for the first time ever, which was great, just to have it, because I wasn't sure what was going to happen if I ever ate beef, because I eat a lot of fish, a lot of seafood. And I think it was Liz who posted something about eating or having eaten or purchased a steak, and I wrote back to her and said, oh, I'm kind of scared. And she said, well, it took some time, but so anyway, I tried it. It didn't kill me. It didn't feel like I had eaten a brick. The only thing that I noticed, nothing, it was fine, it was fine. But and I can't remember what I ate it with. Oh, I ate it with asparagus. But what I did notice, I don't think that had anything to do with a little bit of a weight gain today, but I noticed that yesterday I was not on top of my fluids as I normally would have been. And I can't remember what it was. I think we just kind of ran around. So I think that that's something to think about, and it's good because I, you know, I had whatever it was, you know, point 6, point 7, whatever, 7, I think, point 7 weight gain, and I can go back and go, oh, well, okay, I didn't drink enough, and not be kind of crazy about it. So that. So we were out of town for a week, and then I sort of got away from my regular, you know, doing updates on Friday, but I mean on Tuesdays. But I think that one of the things that's happened is that I broke up with food, and I sort of feel a little strange about, you know, coming on here. I'm not struggling with food. The food is not all that important right now, other than um, making sure that I'm eating, you know, correctly, that I'm nourishing myself. So I think that I kind of feel like, well, what do I have to, you know, what do I have to offer, you know? Um, and so I had to really kind of think about that. What exactly does that mean, and what, you know, what do I bring to the table? Because from day one, when I started doing videos, I talked about bringing something different to the table, just because, you know, my age, my experience of having gone to treatment for my eating disorder, from also feeling that I've been doing well. I haven't been struggling, you know, for it hasn't been a year yet, but for a while, and maybe it was like in November, that, you know, I felt that that my food issues were pretty much under control. So what does that mean? And I know that a couple of other people have mentioned this, and Lisa, thank you, and Lacey also, thank you, because I think that, you know, it's, I don't know why I'm getting the feeling that somehow that if I'm not struggling, that somehow I don't have a voice, which doesn't make any sense, right? Because I've struggled a lot longer with this than many of you have been alive. So, you know, what does that mean? And I'm working on that. I'm working on that in therapy, and I'm working on that in just my everyday thoughts. Also, although my doctor didn't give me a goal weight, I'm, you know, at 155 pounds, and probably 140 is, you know, more than needed for me to be at. I'm totally medication free, which means I'm no longer taking medication for my high blood pressure. I've been taking my blood pressure daily. That's not the truth, not daily, but sort of when I remember. And it's you know, in the 110s over 60 or something to that. So that's no longer an issue, and I have been taking high blood pressure medication for over 10 years, so it's over a decade. I haven't needed medication. I stopped taking medication for anxiety, which, you know, I hadn't really thought about the fact that hormones may have also attributed to my anxiety. And Jess, thank you. Because for some reason, because I'm postmenopausal, I just wasn't really thinking about that, and how, you know, how interesting that I wouldn't think about that, of course. So sleep apnea, no CPAP, no GERD at all, so I'm no longer taking omeprazole. So, you know, that's a kind of an interesting thing, because I wanted to hit 65, which is next May, and when I go into Medicare, yes. When I start going into Medicare, I was hoping that I'd be medication free, just because of even, you know, just because of the hassles of all that and what it entails. And I really don't know, even know what that entails yet. But anyway, so, you know, the idea I think that I'm struggling with is, so if I'm almost 5 months out and I'm about 15 pounds from my goal, is it okay for me to, you know, to come and talk about the things that I have to talk about? That's my reality right now. And I mentioned it to my therapist about 2 weeks ago. Sort of like, I think I broke up with food. And she said, oh, let's talk about that, you know, next time. And let's, I think that there are some things that I really have to look at as far as, so if I'm not struggling with that for now, then what does that all this mean? And I realize that just because I'm not struggling with it today doesn't mean that I'm not going to struggle with it tomorrow, you know. But the other interesting thing about that is that in the past, when I've been like I'm up to fast and I've lost a lot of weight, what would happen would be that I would be obsessed with food. So I'd be going to bed with, you know, with cookbooks, or all those commercials on TV would be like, whoa, you know, like Wendy's or Olive Garden for some reason, and what's the other one, the one that has all the fish, lobster, Hello Lobster, lobster something, anyway. And at times, you know, what's funny is that I would go and get a meal there when I would start eating, and it was never as good as I thought it would be, and then I would go, why do I do this? You know, I overate and it wasn't good. I'm not having those issues. I know that I can, you know, I could go to one of those places that show up on TV, so it's not an all or nothing. I know that it's not that good. The only thing, and I've mentioned this before, the only thing that I do sort of sit back and go like, what would happen if I had a dirty martini? That's the only thing, because I think, well, would I survive? Because it's small, and actually, you know, my husband, who's it's going to be 5 months in 2 days, my husband and I, we love gin and tonics this summer, and we were out and about a couple of days ago, and I said, you know what, it's almost August and we haven't even had a single gin and tonic. And I do diet tonic, and so we came home, and he made us a gin, and I was at vodka tonic because I thought maybe the gin would be too much, that would be upsetting and I survived for my tummy, and I survived, and it was fine, and I didn't even feel, you know, drunk or anything else. So there you go. But I'm just not having those issues this time around. Do I think that my eating, you know, disorder or disordered eating, do I think that it's cured? No. I know that, you know, this will come up again, and especially when there's a crisis in my life, which from time to time that will happen. So no, I don't think so. Things are going fine right now, but I know that that's always going to be one of my issues. So that's where I am. Besos to everybody. And we're in this together. See you next week. Ciao.